Hello internet, hello and welcome to this video. I originally told you that I do not intend on creating a patch overview video for this patch simply because there's too much content in it. If I usually create a patch overview video, those videos take 3 to 4 hours to create depending on the size of the patch. Now if I were to create such a video with a patch of this magnitude, I would have to invest I don't even know how much time. The video would at least be 45 minutes long, probably longer than that. It's just not possible, I'm sorry, it's beyond what I can do for you. I could also just sit down and talk about the patch notes, create a 1.5 hour video of that, but you don't really need another one of those, do you? The Numinous created one, Purge created one, hell, even Danny created one. So you can check those out. You don't need me for that. What I am going to do today is I will reduce this patch to the bare essentials. We will only be talking about the things that I value the most, the things that I think are the most interesting. Just my opinion. And then that's gonna be it. It's that simple. We're going to keep it short, we're going to keep it simple, we're going to keep it to the essentials. Let's get started with the thing all of you want to know about. The armlet. Now they changed it in such a way that instead of gaining the HP from the armlet instantly, the 475 HP you gain from the strength gain, you will receive that in a heal form over a 0.7 second period. This is very interesting. I sadly cannot tell you if this is a buff or a nerf, because also the item doesn't have a cooldown any longer, but you cannot really toggle it unless you let the 0.7 second period pass, because otherwise it's just not effective and you will stay at 1 HP, and it's really tough to judge. All I can tell you, and I am pretty sure on this, though I wouldn't even know, to be honest, like I might just be wrong on this, but I think it's gonna be very difficult to be dodging dots. I don't think that's gonna be a thing anymore. However, something I can still see happening is never losing a straight up fist fight, right? If I was fighting with my lifestealer against your lifestealer and I had an armor and you had something else, I would be very confident that I would win that fight every single time, simply because I know how to toggle my armor between attacks, and I still think that that's gonna be possible, though I'm not sure just how effective it will be. You need to consider that 475 HP over a 0.7 second period is a lot of HP. You heal very quickly. So I'm not sure if it's a nerf, I'm not sure if it's a buff. I would love to play with it though, and I want to see it in action before I can give you a proper judgment of it. Though I think it's an interesting change to the item. Let's say that much. Buybacks have been nerfed. It's just that. Just buybacks have been nerfed royally. Buyback prevents gaining unreliable gold until your normal respawn time finishes, so you cannot buy back and then continue farming, and when buying back, 25% of the remaining respawn time will be added onto your next staff, which, yeah, is a huge punishment for buying back. So what was previously more like, well, if I die I can always buy back, is now more like, oh shit, if I have to, I will buy back, but I really don't want to. Next up are the nerfs to tri-lanes. Now there are many of those in this patch. However, let's just cover the ones that I think are the most important. First of all, non-ancient neutrals now split experience with all heroes in the AoE, instead of just a team that killed them. This means that if some team is pulling, you as the opposing team can just go near that creep camp and you're gonna be leeching their experience, which of course makes tri-laning less effective, especially considering that a medium pullable neutral camp is now the small camp instead. Added on top of that, all of the ranged heroes will now gain the same amount of experience from denies as melee heroes, which yet again a nerf to tri-lanes, because, well, they are now more viable offlaners, because ranged heroes are now much better at it. And that's not even the end of it, they nerfed them even more. The creep waves will now clash a little bit more towards the middle of the lane, so this results in, yet again, offlaners having an easier time, making tri-lanes far weaker than they previously were. They want to promote aggression. That's what they want to do with this. And I don't think anyone is gonna disagree with them that aggression is fun. So I guess we can all just be happy about it, right? I just hope they didn't go too far. This next patch note I don't quite get. I don't know why it's here, I don't see a reason for it, but Roshan will respawn at a random time between 8 and 11 minutes after his death. I don't know why. I really have been thinking about it for a while now and I see no reason. So yay. But something that is nice is that when the Aegis expires unused, it will heal the hero fully over 5 seconds. which I think is great, because I felt like it's kind of a shame for the Aegis to just run out and not do anything, right? That feels a little bit cheap. That just feels cheap. Now at least it's gonna heal you up and no longer force you to run into a bad position to die, so you resurrect and get your Aegis back. No, no, no. You can now just deal some damage, take some damage, fall back, heal up, and then go again, which is a much safer option and far more rewarding for the team that actually managed to snatch the Aegis. So yeah. Another new thing is that the starting gold has been increased from 603 to 625. This is just to compensate for the fact that most of the items in the game have been increased in price. You also gain more gold every minute. Again, just to compensate for the fact that almost every item in the game is more expensive now. So yeah, in case you were curious. Let's get to heroes. The first thing I think is interesting is that the Alchemist's Chemical Rage no longer gives him any bonus HP, instead it will give him an absolutely ridiculous amount of HP regen. This I feel is a huge nerf to the hero, but it will buff his early game potential just a little bit. Harassing him in a lane is gonna be incredibly annoying, if not even just impossible. However, you need to keep in mind that Alchemist is actually not a tanky hero. He got awful stats game. He's squishy like hell. The only reason why he always seemed like an unkillable beast is because he got the bonus HP from the ultimate and then just invested into armor and the BKB, and bam, you got somebody that is almost unkillable. Now he cannot do that anymore because he needs to actually get HP, because the ultimate doesn't give it anymore. So yeah, I feel like this is a nerf to his late game, but a buff to his early game, which I'm not quite sure if I like that, because I already felt like his early game is pretty powerful. But yeah, I guess that's what they decided to go with. They didn't want to nerf him into the ground. I think this is a step in the right direction now, because he can no longer just go for damage-orientated items. That's just not possible. He needs to tag up. Next up is everybody's favorite manly man, Axe. It seems like they want to put a heavy focus on Axe running around and Cunning Blading everybody, because from this point on, Cunning Blade no longer goes on cooldown if it successfully kills a hero. To make up for that, the Cunning Blade threshold has been reduced by a significant amount. However, that amount is only significant if you max out the ability. At level 1, or at level 6 to say so, it's really not that big of a deal. It doesn't make a huge difference. Another note is that the Cunning Blade mana cost has been reduced significantly yet again, but only for level 1. Not so much for level 3. They really want to put a heavy focus on that early game Cunning Blade, because they buffed that significantly. Now another thing they buffed is the speed bonus you get if you successfully execute somebody with the Cunning Blade. It's now just straight up better, and it also applies to attack speed. To me it seems like Cunning Blade is now more of a support ability, really. You run in, you donk everybody, you buff up your team, they run around and murder the rest of them. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you right here. This is probably the greatest change in the patch. Except for Racecar Bloodseeker, but it's just fantastic, isn't it? You can run around and just donk everybody. Man, that's beautiful. 0-second cooldown on that? Hell yeah, please man. Please, of course if you miss it then it will go on a longer cooldown, but why would you miss it? Come on, just get an Aghanim so you get back to old killing threshold. I'm not sure if this is enough to make Axe viable, really, because I felt like he was lacking more than just a bigger Culling Blade. Culling Blade felt like it was already good to begin with, but hey, it's fun. It's definitely fun, so yeah.
Racecar Bloodseeker!
That's really all we need to know about this one. First now gives a little bit less movement speed, but it stacks with itself for each hero that is below the threshold. Also it gives you a little bit of additional damage, and it removes the speed limit on your hero. So Bloodseeker is now the officially fastest hero in the game. He runs faster than everybody else. Yeah. So much for that. There's really not a whole lot to say about it. This change is just so absurd and there's nothing like it in the game, so that judging it doesn't make any fucking sense, because we don't know what impact it's going to have. None of us know. Nobody. If anybody tells you that they know what's going to happen with that change, they are lying, because they can't possibly know. There's nothing like it in the game, so I won't even pretend that I know anything about it. Let's move on. Broodmother ranked up in the spider society and is now allowed to be a proper spider, which in return means that she can now spin her webs in such a way that she can walk up cliffs and trees and people and buildings and whatever the hell she wants to do, really. As long as you're inside of the spiderweb, you will have any kind of terror walking you could wish for. This is again a very absurd change. I think this one is gonna be interesting though, because it allows for some very nice possibilities. Let's just assume you're laning in the mid with Broodmother. You can now go stack the Ancients, as long as you're on a Radiant, but you can now just go stack the Ancients every time you want to, and not really miss out on any creep kills. That's not gonna be an issue, because they are just so close nearby. It's not gonna be a problem. Not necessarily the same for the Dire side, but the Dire Broodmother can just access the secret shop whenever the hell she wants to. No problem for her either. That's just really cool. That terror walking is gonna be fun. Now, of course, it's very predictable, because once you see, oh my god, there's a giant spider web, you can assume that there's gonna be a spider coming out of it, because that's just kind of what spiders do. But I still think this is gonna be fun. And the question, however, is this the change she needed, right? Back when Broodmother used to be viable, it was mostly thanks to her pushing potential. Not really that she was a great ganker or any of the sort. She never really was. And I still don't think she is. I don't quite know what they are going for with this change. Like, her spiderlings are still easy as shit to kill, and you get infinite money out of them, so what's the point of this? I guess it's fun for laning in the mid, but that's about it. Maybe she's supposed to be a number off laner now, because she can just go hide in the jungle and nobody will ever find her, because she's the spider roaming the woods. Like, who the hell would find her? But, oh well. I don't know. I think this is an odd one. It's definitely fun, but it's an odd one. Meepo also got an interesting change. His Divided We Stand has now a new way of leveling, because you can now get it at level 4 as opposed to level 6, and you can get the third level only at level 18 as opposed to level 16. Now, this is actually really awesome for the hero. First of all, they also improved the cast point of the net, which makes it much easier to land. But imagine this. You have a Meepo on the lane, right? He's level 4. He throws a net on you, he walks up to you, poofs twice. That's 400 AoE damage, level 4. That's ridiculous. That's a really good amount of laning power. Also, since he now got 2 Meepos, he is gonna be so efficient at getting levels. It's gonna be crazy. You may say level 18 is a nerf, but it doesn't fucking matter, because he's gonna have the Aghanims by then anyway. So that's 4 Meepos roaming the map, and if you ever played Meepo, you know just how quickly he gets levels. It's not gonna be an issue for him. He will get that level 4 ultimate at about the same time. So this is actually an absolutely incredible buff. I feel like playing Meepo right now. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is definitely gonna help him out. Now, if you only get good micromanagement, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some Meepo coming out from No Tail. Like, we all know it's going to happen, and we are all excited for it. And let's round this video up with some minor things that I want to just quickly mention. We're not gonna discuss them. But Bob got buff. Venge and Pudge can now finally use Blink. The Doom's Doom is pretty much just more of a bitch now. Disruptor got an Aghanos upgrade, which is basically an AoE Doom. Rubik got an Aghanos upgrade, which is the greatest thing in the world. And Enigma can now wipe a whole team on his own. Doesn't matter if they're at full HP. So, yeah. That's all pretty cool, and we are done here for today. So again, I wanted to keep the short, and it ended up a little bit longer than I thought it would. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you tomorrow. Bye.